Today we're talking about things you need to consider when talking about graphics cards, talking about price, talking about obviously performance. Two of the most important parts when shopping for new or used graphics cards. So today we're going to talk about super budget. We're talking about things like high end, things of that nature. So first off, we'll start about super budget. Under $100, things to look at, things graphics cards to look at, still relevant ones today. Starting off first with a 1070 and 1070 Ti. They're about under $100 on used. You can pick them up for about under $100 used. Some of them come 2 fans, some of them 3 fans. This is a single fan MSI card. Good for 1080p gaming at 8 gigabytes of VRAM buffer. 8 gigabytes of VRAM, which is a decent amount for 1080p gaming in 2024, kind of going into 2025. Then if you're looking for under $100, then if you're looking for under $200, you're looking at things like the 6600 and the 1080 Ti, both with the 6600 again with a pretty decent performance uplift over the 1070 Ti. A little bit of a performance uplift. 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Other thing you can look at too is 1080 Ti, both kind of expensive card, or they're both older cards, the 1070, 1660 from NVIDIA, and a 1070 Ti. Kind of older cards. You don't know how long the drivers are going to be supported for future games, but for right now they're still supported. They still perform pretty decent. Probably around 60 FPS in most games at 1080p. Maybe have to adjust some settings down, but they should perform pretty well. If you want to step up to under $200, that's probably where you're looking at 1080 Ti's. Maybe 2060 Supers. Anything you can find kind of in that range with 8 gigabytes of VRAM kind of would be where you want to look. Stepping up kind of to a different performance level, you're looking at things like 2080 Super. Trying to go over the 2080 Super. Actually, in the under about $220 to $250 to $300 range, I would actually recommend the 2080 Ti if you can find one. 11 gigabytes of VRAM. Kind of can use ray tracing a little bit, but not over the top. Offers you some DLSS performance. FSR works good on it. And obviously, it actually can do probably quite a good bit of good gaming as far as kind of where you're starting to step into 1440p gaming with the 2080 Ti. You can do games like Warzone, Apex Legends, things Fortnite, a lot of esports titles, and even some like lightweight, some of the lighter to easier to run single player titles like Elden Ring, things like that. Pretty high graphics, settings, or at least competitive settings, and you can get over 100 FPS in 1440p generally. So yeah, I would definitely, if you're looking for under the $300 range, I would definitely look at 2080 Ti's, with 2080 Super kind of being a backup, just because the maybe 6750 XT, but again 2080 Ti just stomps it in every way, shape, or form as far as performance goes. 2080 Ti just outperforms everything in that price range. If you want to step up a little bit for a little bit newer card, again 3070. You pick these up used. You can get these used around 250 to 300. Again, I would probably go 2080 Ti if you're willing to go a little bit older. Again, 11 gigabytes versus the 3070 only having 8 gigabytes of VRAM. 3080 Ti, same thing, or 3070 Ti, same thing, only 8 gigabytes of VRAM. Kind of where you're gonna struggle in a lot of games, things like Halo Infinite. If you play games like that, where you actually can see a lot of stuttering with the 8 gigabytes of VRAM, you'll see some stuttering after about 20 to 30 minutes of gameplay. But again, if you can find a 3070, that's it's all you can find in your used market. It's a good card. Again, the VRAM buffer is kind of where you're going to struggle at. So maybe look at other options if you can with a little bit higher VRAM buffer. If you want to step into more high-end gaming style stuff, this is a 3080 Ti. These actually have dropped in price significantly recently. Scratch it. These are down to about $450 to $500. They used to be over $1,000. The price almost cut in half. It's almost 2 generations old at this point. If you know, the 5000 series comes out, Black Wilson comes out. But currently still in 4000 series. This is currently 1 generation old, 3080 Ti. This was one of the most desirable cards during the crypto mining boom back in 2020, 2021. You know, these kind of fallen, you know, kind of raised. They perform about what a 4070 Super, 4070 Ti is, somewhere in that range, you know, depending on the title and game. About where this card right here we're talking about next is the 7900 GRE. Outperforms the 7800 XT, or 7800 XT. It doesn't quite touch the 7900 XT in most titles, but some titles it can. It does offer better ray tracing performance generally than most Radeon cards in that price category. So it's kind of, this is the card that really 3080 Ti and above for performance level is kind of where you start to really, you know, utilize things like ray tracing. You can start to use them and actually get playable performance. So then we're going to step into our only Radeon card that we actually own. You know, just how it goes. Is a 7900 GRE. You can pick these up for right around used. You can pick them up for about $500 up to brand new, about $600, depending on the model and which one you go with. This is the Red Devil model. We got this open box from our local Micro Center for $512. So again, if you want something brand new, AV1 encoding, things of that nature, you know, this is a great card. Actually, I played on this. I dailied it for like a week or so. And I didn't have any issues with it. It ran pretty well. I played a lot of Warzone, things like that. That's primarily what I play. I got over 170 FPS I'd say right about 770 on average. So about what the 3080 Ti can do, because I dated that card for a really long time. So let's say you want to step into things that, you know, kind of don't make any sense. Price to performance is kind of out the window as far as value, and you just want to go for balls to the wall performance. You're looking at things like 7900 XT, 4080 Super, that's what this is. Or if you want to step up to insane levels of money and literally diminished returns, but no one can touch it, or no current card in the market can touch it, and that would be the 4090. If you want to step up to the 4090, which is about $1,600 to $2,000 US. At the time of filming, obviously, I mean, prices change very regularly. Prices can vary. But again, if you want to step into these kind of categories, you're not really looking at price to performance. You're looking at just maximizing the budget you have for, you know, new stuff, brand new stuff. So other questions you might have when looking at graphics cards besides just price to performance and what I can afford in my budget is things like content creation, right? A very common thing nowadays is content creation in different types. A lot of times NVIDIA cards, even from older generations, tend to have a little bit better content creation abilities than the Radeon cards as far as stream quality. On things like Twitch, YouTube, it does seem to have better video encoding. AV1 encoding on the newer cards does seem to do decent. It does well. But sometimes you get micro stutters, a little bit weird stuttering issues you can get with the Radeon cards using some of the softwares of like OBS and Stream Elements, things like that. So maybe there's a better one. If anybody knows, maybe the Radeon software works really well, or if you're a streamer and you're watching this, comment down below maybe if there's any Radeon cards you use and how, you know, maybe some of the video encoding settings. I can try them with this card and see what happens. But yeah, I tried both of them, kind of, you know, messed around with different content styles, and it seemed like this 3080 Ti, although I got less performance when streaming as far as my gameplay goes, like for me, but the quality of the content was better. So I guess it's a trade-off. Do you want better quality for you or better quality for the viewership you have? So I've also, you know, so do some testing and things of that nature. Another thing you can, you know, obviously ask yourself is what technologies are you going to use? Are you going to use things like ray tracing? Obviously the cost of your card's going to go up, but you can use things, you know, ray tracing. You're going to use DLSS or FSR. What's more important to you? You know, obviously most content creators do tend to see that DLSS is more superior. From what I see, if you're not side by side comparing them and really looking at each minute detail, you really can't tell that much of a difference, especially if you don't know what the other one looks like. So FSR is pretty solid of a performance or of a upscaler. Again, if you compare them side by side on the same monitor, everything else, same game, then yeah, you can notice a little bit of a difference. But again, if you only have to buy one card, you're not going to notice what the DLSS card would look like, or the DLSS option would look like, unless you want to buy a 3080 or a 3090 or 4080 or 3070 or any NVIDIA card. You want to enable FSR and then enable DLSS and look at the difference. You could, but I don't see why that would be your decision. I think raw performance would be why you would make a decision on, you know, what graphics cards you would buy. Obviously your price, your budget would obviously matter. So if you look at low end and you want high refresh rate, I would say 2080 Ti, 2080 Supers are solid. If you're looking, you know, mid-range, I would say, you know, maybe go with Radeon cards like the 7800 XT or 7800 GRE or the used 3080 Ti. If you're looking on the $500 range. If you're looking at, you know, high performance, you want the best of technologies generally at that range. NVIDIA kind of is the solid market, especially because Radeon is gonna, AMD's Radeon division doesn't really have any plans to perform or to compete at that high level anymore. They're kind of going to go mid-range with their latest or the newest generation of cards that are supposed to launch within the next year, from what the rumors say. And then NVIDIA is going to kind of lean heavily into the high-end markets. And it sounds like with the 5080 and the 5090 kind of being their flagships. So again, comment down below what cards you have, what cards you're looking at. If you're looking to upgrade currently, if you're waiting to see what happens with the new stuff, you know, what cards you've come from, what cards you've had good luck with. You know, maybe comment what cards you didn't like that you had. If you had a Radeon card you really liked, but you bought an NVIDIA card because you thought DLSS was going to be better, and then you ended up not liking it. You're gonna have driver issues, you had quality or you know, monitor issues, which I've heard. Both brands kind of have issues with different monitors, different BIOSes, and different motherboards. They all have issues. Nothing's perfect. The best thing too is PCs. Maybe we'll make a video on this. You know, people always like, PCs are such headaches. Maybe I'll talk about that too in a future video. But comment down below what you think is, what cards you have currently, what cards you are looking at getting, what if you're gonna step up in performance, what performance you get, performance level you're at now. You know, are you happy with your performance level? Generally, most people are. Most people want more performance. It's just the human nature of gamers. So yeah, let's end it off here. Thanks for watching, and subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more content like this, and hopefully more fun builds, more builds in the future, more fun stuff in the future. Again, I just kind of get more used to the quality of video version, and then we'll start doing cool stuff. So I'm just trying different things, different audio setups, different streaming setups, or different video encoders and things like that. So thanks for watching.